Hey, welcome to my Psalm series on net. Today we're looking at Psalm 62. It's really a psalm about absolute trust in God. There's probably not a better one about this particular topic, how trustful the king is for God. And I think really in times like this in 2020, we need a leadership that really trusts in God and puts their hope in Him. And I think we may or may not have it in different areas of the country. Um, but here, let me read the very first part of this psalm. It says, "My soul finds rest in God alone. My salvation comes from Him. He alone is my rock, my salvation. He is a fortress, and I will never be shaken." This psalm really is, there's several things going on in the psalm. One, it opens with a statement like he's teaching people. The psalmist, in this case David, is telling people, hey, I trust in God. I don't trust in anyone else. No one else is going to come to my rescue. I'm not looking for another king. I'm not looking for another nation. I'm not looking for another God or another spiritual being. It's God alone who's my fortress and my salvation. He's talking to people, teaching them. And then the next part, it sounds like he's talking to God when he asks these questions. How long will you assault a man? Would you, all of you, throw him down? Or maybe he's talking to other people who sounds like they're trying to dethrone David. And then I don't know if he's talking to God in this psalm at all, but he says they finally intend to topple him from his lofty place, and they take delight in lies. Their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse. It's really hard to tell what people are doing in their hearts. David may have had some inspiration here. He also may have just had some real good wisdom. I think David was a wise man. He didn't become king. He wasn't a man of God without some wisdom. And he didn't become the king, a man after God's own heart, without some wisdom. David was really wise. And he had an expression of trust in God that's exceeding all others. And he really wants people to follow his suit. There's some times when people are wanting to tear you down. It's unfortunate when other people try to cut you down, try to tear you apart. I feel that way about some people. At times, they're just trying to undermine what you're doing. And I know leadership always feels this from someone, because not everyone likes everything that goes on all the time. That never happens. Jesus wasn't liked by all people. God isn't liked by all people. No president has ever been liked by all people, and no leadership is always loved by all people. There are reasons they don't like him, and they want to topple them. I've heard it said that there are some groups out there that all they do is destroy. They don't build up anything. And it's really sad to know that there are people like that. They're not interested in building up. They just want to tear down. They have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what to replace it with. They just want to tear down. That sounds a little bit like our times now in 2020. And it's really hard to tell what's in people's heart. They might say, bless you. They might do that. But then in the reality, they're cursing. And it's really hard to tell when people are cursing you or wanting to have you cursed when they're in their mouths spouting blessings. But I think you could tell to some degree. But this is what's going on in the psalm. The first two is really showing how much trust he has. And then maybe it's to God, or maybe again, yet he's still to other people that, hey, these people are trying to hurt me. They're trying to kill me. But he never asked God for help. But in verses 5 through 8, we have, it's about God and his challenge to others have them trust in God. And in the last few verses, it's really a commentary of how what he believes in God. It kind of reminds me of, of other commentaries. But here's what he says about life itself. Don't trust in life. It's just a breath. Don't trust in mankind. Certainly don't trust in riches or stolen goods or extortion. That's not going to get you anywhere. Don't put your trust in riches. But let me tell you who you should trust. Don't trust in bank accounts. Hospitals will do some good, but that isn't our salvation. Our salvation comes from God, and this reminds me of a proverb. The last two verses, verses 11 and 12. He says, what God has spoken one thing, and then I have heard two things. And that is, God is strong, and God is loving. God is more powerful than the adversary. God is more powerful than any movement out there, any nation out there. Surely, and he ends with this, surely you will reward each person according to what he has done, judging their thoughts, judging the words, what we have said, and judging our own judgments. We need to learn to confess our sins. We need to learn to be inward, be able to focus somewhat inward, to be able to analyze ourselves. Not to focus on ourselves, but to be able to be a good judge of who we are. Because God will judge us in the end, and he is the one we have to stand up to. And I think it's kind of, I don't know if confirming, but I think it's great to be able to know that God is looking out for our best interest and wants us to be the best we can be, and will in the end give us what we truly deserve. And we need to forgive. We will be forgiven as we forgive. God will be generous to us like we are generous to others. He will judge us like we judge others. Jesus uses these concepts from this psalm, but he never really quotes it. But it is a psalm about trust, and you won't find a better one than this. Psalm 62. Rachel, I'm glad to see you here. Obviously, I'm doing this on Facebook. So have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. And tomorrow I'll be on Psalm 63. Trust in God.